What's up, everybody? Michael Gilly here from FloMarching, and this is the Drill Down. Joining us today is Andy Shama, Kayla Moses, and Chris Walker. And yeah, how's everybody doing?
Great.
It's Valentine's Day, so it's great.
I know, right?
Yeah, my favorite holiday.
Actually, I did get you guys some Valentine's Day
Treats.
donuts in honor of the Couchman's.
Yes, I am representing the Couchman today.
So you got this big old donut right there in the middle of your chest.
So do we
You're
eat
not
them
gonna?
now?
No, actually,
probably not.
Actually, no. I got you a special one. You asked for the
Oh, yes.
the zebra one, so there you go.
I'm going to put in my order very specifically next time.
Zebra donut.
I've never heard of the term zebra donuts
Me
before.
neither.
Well, this is a zebra donut.
Chris
So.
schooled us on it. Apparently it's backwards now. It used to be chocolate with white frosting, but now it's
They had both. I had to like. I had
They
to
had
think,
both.
They had
Yeah,
both.
they did.
And I had to think about the idea: is a zebra white and with black stripes, or is he black with
white
like a
stripes.
lot of white on
There's
him?
a zebra emoji now in the iPhone, so you can just kind of.
Yeah, your emoji game has stepped up here.
I've been
recently.
trying to work on my Twitter emoji
It's
game.
a work in progress.
So yeah, so for the show, I just got back from LA. Was gone last week. Yeah, you guys rocked out the show. And then we've got Valentine's Days today. We've got a couple of We've got I cannot talk this morning. We've got a guard regional and a percussion regional
This
yeah.
weekend.
Indy and Dayton.
and so it is full on bore. Man, LA, what a crazy scene.
Yeah, you killed it. I think some of the content you were putting out was like some stuff that we've probably never seen before in the marching arts, like that drone footage you shot that we'll see probably later.
Yeah, I've actually got it pulled up right here. And so it's got this crazy drill going up from
Yeah, there we go.
from Ayala. This is their world-class group. In case you can't quite tell what's happening, is they have 80 chairs, like miniature chairs, on the floor that their visual team is constantly moving and shifting so that they're out of the way of the battery as they're marching. And even in some cases, they end up going to a point where they actually stand up on top of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On top of them, so they have to like put them in the right spot at the right time, or else the battery guys.
There's like
are gonna end up-
choreography to it, drill
Yeah,
moves, yeah.
battery guys are going to end up eating it. And
Did you say in this particular show that like everybody's going to be in white, the drums are going to be in white, like all the
Everything.
instruments, people, floor, chairs are all going to be white, and then there's going to be one element of the show that is included in color, right?
right, so if I'm recalling right, the title of the show is called "A Time to Know."
Yeah.
And after talking to Ike Jackson about it, what it's essentially based around is the idea is that we always have these little blessings that are happening throughout our lives. You wake up in the morning and your car starts. You know, you
That is
don't
a
get a
blessing.
flat
Yeah,
tire.
things you take for granted.
Yeah, things you take for granted. You don't get a flat tire coming into work.
Yeah.
You have a job that you're getting paid to do. Like
Yes.
we have a great job because we get to cover the marching. You know?
Yeah.
It's all those little blessings, and a lot of times we take them for granted. We don't think about them. We don't necessarily acknowledge that they're there. And so what he wanted to do was provide a chance to see a show in which we are focused on the blessings and seeing how they interact and how they work. And so the concept came to him, he was thinking of a couple waltzing through a ballroom. And if you imagine it's just a couple waltzing through the ballroom, well, imagine all the chairs being out there. And if the chairs weren't in the exact right places, the couple wouldn't be able to waltz. And then if you start adding more couples in there waltzing, because you're typically not going to dance by one couple, you're going to have a whole bunch of them.
Right.
If I move the chair out of the way for this couple that's dancing, well, I might immediately put it in the way of this other
one,
couple.
yeah.
So then you have to shift it out that way. Well, then you're having to constantly do
Right.
this.
It reminds me of like a video game where there's like always the pieces that you're trying to avoid. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
Pretty
surely
much.
you've played a game like this before where it's like you can't touch like certain elements and you're having to like avoid.
Pretty much.
Like a
You mean
lava game?
Like Flappy Bird?
Flappy
Yeah,
Bird.
like Flappy Bird.
Never
Flappy Bird.
Remember you had to like stay up, you couldn't touch the ground? This is the Flappy Bird, by the way.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So-
wow.
Whatever.
So they have it's what they call a visual team, visual line, visual.
Oh yeah, like an
whatever.
ensemble. Yeah.
They're going to be dressed in some sort of gold, and so they're the only element that has color.
Gold.
And what it's going to be, basically, the idea is to watch those guys as they do this mad dash scramble they literally will start like chucking chairs. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like grab them and flinging them all over the place, and just like wholesale, like grab 5 or 6 chairs at the same time and just blow them out of the way.
It's gonna be
And
so
then,
classy.
as the battery moves to that section that just got cleared, there's 5 or 6 more guys behind them that are resetting the chairs.
Oh, wow. So they're back in
Immediately-
that grid?
Yeah. So I mean, just
Interesting.
as soon as they move out of one section, the grid gets reset, and then as they move out of this section, this grid gets reset while this one gets
Yeah,
destroyed.
that's really cool.
And so it's all about the blessings, and there's times when they're about to fall and the blessings are catching them. There's times they're about to sit down and they're literally like sliding the chair as they're sitting down. They're sliding the chair underneath of them
Wow.
to catch them.
That's awesome.
And so it's
You said they're miniature chairs. How small are we talking here? Dollhouse?
Yeah,
if this is the floor, we're talking about the backs of the chairs about this tall.
Wow, they are very small.
Yeah, they're little kid chairs.
See, I couldn't tell the scale because you got that GoPro on one of the visual ensemble members,
Yeah.
and they were moving them like they were nothing. They weighed nothing, but now I can understand how they were so
Yeah,
light
they're
because they're
that
so
little.
small.
Right. But just think in terms of rehearsals. Like when you dealt with at Tilt, or even at BD, you guys had a tons of props.
Yeah.
On them. What was it like for during your rehearsal? Okay, reset to set such and such. We need to reset the props.
Yeah, it was. That's a huge part of rehearsal. Is like being able to do that efficiently. It's to the point where like we would rehearse, setting up the props correctly, and you would always know going into rehearsal where the props needed to be set up. To get rehearsal off on the right foot, and that was a part of your mealtime. But in particular, when I was at Blue Devils, we had these giant ladder chairs. Basically, it was like a 6 or 8 foot tall ladder, and then a seat on top. And I had to move one of those during the ballot, and there were like 12 of them. And during the ballot, every time I would have to take it from like the backfield center on the 50 to the front like 40-yard line, about 12 in front of the front hash, and like every time we reset, okay, run the chair all the way back. And luckily they had wheels on them, and you can just like pull them down. But like that's a huge part of rehearsal. If you're not good at it, it can really slow things
So
down.
imagine times 80.
Yeah.
And the idea that like, okay, we're gonna reset to letter whatever, and they have to reset not just the chairs that need to get set back into the formation, but they need to reset the chairs that literally got tossed out of the way.
Yeah.
So they have to know, okay, obviously the grid's the grid. They need to reset the grid, but they also need to know, okay, which set of chairs that I chunk, 10 feet that way, which chairs that I need to chunk this way,
Yeah.
and got to get those guys reset too.
Yep.
And they've actually gotten really proficient at it, and it's kind of remarkable. I've got some more videos of about their visual team and how they managed to pull it off. But it's a pretty remarkable show, and I can't wait
Yeah.
to see what they're doing. It's hard.
It seems like it's something
hard.
that is pretty much different every time they perform it too, because there's not really like a technique to throwing a chair.
No.
How do you do that the same way every time? You have to, I guess, reps.
And what's interesting to see them develop the show is Peter Burkhart is doing, and Peter from the time
I
at
love
Devs,
Peter. Yeah.
is how he's designing the show is very organic.
Mm-hmm.
It's very trial by error type work with the kids, and it's literally like you're gonna go flail around over here for a little bit. You develop your own dance style
Yeah,
called
make it
the
look
flail,
good. Yeah.
and make it look good. Have at it,
Yeah.
and it kind of gives the creativity to the kids and lets
Definitely.
them do their own thing.
Yeah.
So that was very intriguing. Got to spend some time at Arcadia. That program's just nuts.
Yeah. One of those other powerhouse programs.
Yeah, one of the interesting parts that I learned about that program when we talked to Tony Nunez was they're a single high school district. They have 6 middle school feeders. So they have like 4,000 kids at the high school.
How many each class?
I don't.
I mean,
Probably
I guess
somewhere
4,000. I guess
somewhere around
1,000.
1,000. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is unreal.
Come on, math.
They have 100 kids in their percussion program alone. So they run 3 indoor lines every year. They have an open, and a world line.
Wow.
But the interesting part about that is you would think that it's just a plethora of riches. You've got all these kids, you could do this.
Yeah.
The interesting part about that is because you have staffs that some work primarily with the world group, some kind of primarily work with the open group, some work primarily with the A group. And I mean, if you're on staff for all three, you're just, I mean, you're wearing yourself out with rehearsals. I mean, just rehearsals are getting nuts. The interesting part is that you would think at most high school programs where you have a typical number of kids in a program, when you're a freshman, you're working with the seniors and you're developing that culture all the way through until you're a senior, and now you're passing down the culture to the freshmen that are here.
Right.
Their classes are a little bit differently because in the World line, you have seniors for the most part, and you have a handful of juniors. The open line is mostly sophomores with, you know, sprinkling some freshmen and sprinkling, you know, some juniors. And then the A line is like all freshmen.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the derivation that you get in concert season, where you'll have like a wind symphony that's typically almost all seniors.
And so what ends up happening is as the world-class line guys graduate out, all of the, you know, for the most part, all of the open guys move up a spot because they're next man up.
Yeah.
And the A guys move to open, and then you've got this whole nother class. So each class is kind of siloed within themselves.
Yeah, interesting.
And so when you're a freshman and you're on the A line, you don't have a senior to turn to and be like, hey man, how do I perform? How do I do it? You're turning to another freshman and going, dude, how do we do this? So they have to teach themselves in and of themselves. So each class kind of has its own culture. And so as a teacher, you have to learn each class's different little nuances and new things. Because it's not like, okay, I'm going to teach, I've taught this kid for 6 years, and now I know exactly how he works and how he processes information and how I can teach him. No, I've got to work with a whole new class
every year,
every year, every 2 years. So it's a different way to teach, and it's intriguing.
Obviously, it's successful.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously know what they're doing, and it's just an intriguing situation that
definitely.
I've never taught at a school with 100 kids in a percussion section.
Yeah, I was going to say our percussion section was like 20 kids who were all best friends, and had you know, been in percussion with each other through, you know, 2 middle schools in my hometown.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
that's bananas.
That's the normal, and they're obviously the atypical, but they're doing amazing things, and those kids can all play. One of the things I got a video pulled up here. We're just gonna let this play in just a second, but this is I got a chance to go hang out with Broken City, and I'm gonna hit this snare break because this is just absolutely bonkers what these guys do. That thing is nuts. The drill itself is crazy.
Yeah. That's what I'm mesmerized by.
As an old snare drummer, I was talking to Mike Jackson. The musicality of that snare break is nuts. How they beginning, how they have those cold attacks where they don't have any timing and they're just just unreal. And
so how did they work through that? Is there like a
internal
timing?
Pulse.
It's just an internal.
They probably get 8 beats and go.
So
8 beats and Mets off.
Yeah, once they started it's game on, and when they hit that particular moment where they're just all kind of dead silence. Yeah, there's no dudding, there's no foot tapping, there's no clicks.
I mean, it's reminiscent of last year. They just
it's
nailed the cold attacks.
Right, and they are bringing back those rim shots, those left-hand rim shots that they had last year that were just
awesome.
Yeah, they've got it again this year. It's in the middle of the bass break, but. Yeah, the musicality of that show.
Really excited to see them live.
The show's concept is off the charts. It's called. I'll say it's called Fall.
Okay.
And I don't want to go into too many details about what it is. And it was actually a request from Mike Jackson because he wants you to watch the show and interpret it in and of yourself.
Okay.
he doesn't want his interpretation of the show to affect how you interpret it, because you're going to interpret it different than I am. You're going to interpret it different than me. You're going to interpret it differently.
Sure.
So he wants everybody to have those individual experiences, and that's...
But we get the name, and it's called Fall.
Yeah.
F-A-L-L?
Yep.
Okay.
So...
there may be another...
spelling of fall.
You know, P-H-A-L-L?
Fall?
Ah.
Sure.
It's Valentine's Day, guys. Give it
More
to
like
me.
F-A-I-L for you.
I don't love you that much. We're not gonna let that slide.
You're wearing the Couchman shirt, so that kind of
What's
kind of
next?
fitting.
What's next?
Well, you mentioned
jokes.
it is
Got
Valentine's.
jokes.
It is Valentine's Day. Kayla, you knocked it out of the park with some things on social media about Valentine's Day, and what was you posted out a question?
So I think everybody has a story of, you know, like the band couple they knew, or they were probably in a band couple. I think like I can raise them. I was in a band couple, and I thought it would be great for us to kind of like touch base with the community and ask for stories of not only people who, you know, just like met their significant other in band, but just like hearing about how that, you know, relationship is shaped, you know, their romance. But we got some really funny responses, which of course this community is like hilarious.
Yeah.
We got some really heartwarming stuff. People really came out and showed us cute pictures too.
So we got a couple examples pulled up that came up through Twitter, and yeah, there you go. There's is it Phantom?
Yeah,
and
Phantom
Caddies?
Cake.
What?
Yeah,
oh, yeah, the
propaganda.
wedding.
Phantom cake at the
Propaganda
bottom
outfit.
of it.
Yeah, and so that bottom right is their wedding cake. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I think she said that her mother-in-law surprised her with
Yeah,
that.
I think I read that too.
Like, come, you're getting into the right family, girl. Get it.
And then, of course, we all know Zach Ashcraft,
Zach.
Amazing photographer and founder of the Couchman. Yeah, it looks like they actually competed against each other. For a
Yeah,
while.
and the wife was world champion with Spartacus. Come on.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite shows. He's like
and-
super proud of it too. He like posted a picture of her in that show.
That's
And
awesome.
then,
Yeah,
and then
obviously.
here, this is, and then what's interesting about this is you had, well, the previous two examples, you had folks that were marching on two different corps, and then of course here you've actually got it where they marched together and they had the opportunity to meet and do that. So there's a ton more. We've got some more examples that we're going to post up on the site a little bit later. We've got there's just a ton of them.
Yeah, we'll include some of the we had some like really funny stuff too that we'll show. There were also a few that had like multiple threads where they were like, we started in this corps and then he got cut and then followed me to this corps and then just it's you guys, it's like a soap opera. It's so good.
Yeah, band relationships.
Yeah, but sometimes they aren't so good. So we got an email from somebody in response to asking people to like submit these photos.
Okay.
So I want to read this to you guys.
Have
It's
you-
near
have
and
you
dear to
heard
my
this?
heart.
I haven't heard this yet. have
Okay,
you?
yeah, it came to me. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Get ready, guys. Okay. Dear FloMarching, I have a huge problem and I don't know what to do about it. I fell in love for the first time in 6th grade and we've been together ever since. As soon as I heard his deep voice, I knew he was the one for me. We've traveled all over, been to sporting events, on vacations. Of course, I see him all the time at school, and if I don't, I see him on the weekend. Here's my problem. Lately, I feel like we don't spend any time apart. Even my friends are concerned that I'm always ditching them to spend time with my fella instead. They act so awkward if I bring him along, though. But he means everything to me, and I want us to be together always. How can I get my friends to stop being such a drag and accept that my sousaphone is going to be a part of my life forever? Sincerely, Heart of Brass.
What?
You know, I was hoping it wasn't going to be a tuba.
I thought it. I was.
He's a
feeling,
big guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't know what to
I
say.
dragged my pair of sticks and pad everywhere.
Drummers are ridiculous about that.
Actually, I got it out in the truck right now, too.
Of course
so.
you do.
Well, I've got to learn that snare pick now.
Actually, where I got this hat from, Gibraltar. It's the southern tip of Spain. I'll bring it back around. So I was
We're going on a journey.
I went. My aunt is actually from Spain. We did a family trip out there, going into my sophomore year, where I really wanted to play snare drum my sophomore year. So the one thing I packed with me, aside from underwear and socks and all that, was my pad and sticks. And I was down on the beach with my little sticks, trying to learn how to play traditional grip. So yeah, drummers are kind of weird like that. So.
Yeah, for brass players, I definitely you buzz when you walk around everywhere.
Yeah.
You never give it up.
You know, and I think we're all buzzing right now from Valentine's Day.
I'm buzzing with love.
B-Day buzz. Well, that was fun, guys. Thanks for indulging my jokes. That was a good time.
Well, we do have a couple of regionals coming up this weekend. We got to get back into the grind of what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be going up to Indianapolis for the Guard Regional. We've got 2 days at Greenfield Central and at Warren Central. Warren Central just got back from Japan, so I'm excited to go see what what that group is up to.
Definitely.
But the lineup that's going to be up in Indianapolis is just it's going to be unreal.
Yeah, I could say the same about Dayton, honestly. This first percussion regional is going to be nuts.
Yeah, the Open and the World Class are completely shelling out this weekend. I mean, Scholastic World, Northview, Avon, Shenandoah, Miamisburg, Center Grove, Warren Central, Carmel, Greenfield Central, and Bellbrook.
Wow.
I mean,
those are some...
You typically don't see
Those are big names.
Scholastic World group like that. And then, of course, on the independent world side of things, you get Interplay, and then you've got Pride of Cincinnati, Blue Coats,
Indoor,
and Onyx.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about some heavy hitters.
Yeah. Blue Coats Indoor did an exhibition performance, I believe, last weekend.
Oh, wow.
And they put some pictures up of their uniforms if you want to check those out.
Yeah.
Those are on our Twitter.
They're definitely cool.
So I can't wait to get up to Indy and go check those guys out. And you're going to be in Dayton.
Yeah, I'm going to go visit my friends in Dayton. And I say my friends, but I mean, like, I just can't wait to get to a show.
We're all friends in the marching arts.
Yeah, seriously. Incredible lineup, especially Independent World. We've got Rhythm X, Music City Mystique, who of course won World Championship last year. Cannot wait to see what they bring out this year. You know, last year's show was really something I haven't seen from Mystique before, but I'm new to WGI Percussion. And then we've also got GMU Indoor, Connexus in Independent Open, and then you can also check out, I did those Skype interviews with Dan Shack. He talks about the design behind Connexus and GMU, and also Kettering Fairmont, where the show is going to happen.
So he got all three of them in there, and they're all going to be in
at
Dayton.
that show. Yeah,
they're all going to be in Dayton, so you can all get a preview of what the show looks like.
Yeah,
just jump on the site.
Yeah,
check out the Dan Shack interviews.
But I'm really excited to get up to Dayton. I love watching drums in a gym, and I cannot wait. I'm serious.
Loud drums in a gym.
Yeah, I'm bringing my earplugs. I'll be ready for it. But
yeah, speaking from somebody who's lost 50% of his hearing.
Yeah.
Always make sure you wear your earplugs.
Definitely.
Because it does.
If you ever go to a lot,
it does not come back.
Yeah. Definitely bring some plugs.
Yeah. Now I remember, this is random thought of the day here, because mine's going to different places. I can't wait to get to these donuts. But if I remember right, we had an example that you were going to provide to us.
Yeah,
of the
so
SNL thing, right?
Well, we had this. Well, maybe you had the idea of doing a throwback, kind of goofy thing, and I just kind of took it and did my own thing with it. So I'm starting a story time segment
with
here
Chris
on the
Walker.
drill down. So hit that beautiful beam footage there.
There we go.
If you happen to find yourself trapped under an unfolding floor tarp at your first indoor show, just stay there, still, confident, quietly whispering to yourself, I am a prop. I am a prop. I am the prop.
And there you go.
There you have it.
If you have any questions, let us know in the comments below how that segment went over.
Wow.
So
I like how it changed from I am a prop, I am a prop, I'm
the prop.
the prop.
Yeah, just imagine if you do get stuck underneath an unfolding floor tarp. Like, what do you do in that situation? Do you crawl out, or do you just hold still?
You accept it. You make it part of the drill. This is my
at that
dot
point, you know, you're not getting off on the right foot.
Yeah, but if they're throwing chairs around, you might want to get out of the way. So I don't know. I think you gotta know your audience, gotta know your show. Yeah.
Gotta know yourself.
Oh man.
Gotta know yourself.
Gotta know yourself.
Well, I mean, the old adage is like if you get to the end of the set, you know, you're just supposed to stay there. Don't move.
Well, yeah. Or if you make a mistake, you know, stick
Just
it.
own it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's always so great when you see an arc and there's the one person who's confidently 10
Like,
paces
wrong.
out of the arc.
They're
is my
throwing
spot.
some deep shade.
that's when you have everybody look at him and go, "Dot pirate."
Yeah.
Dot pirate? That's a new one.
You never heard of that?
Pirate.
No. What
Oh,
does
dot
that mean?
pirate. Yeah, man. That was.
Arr.
I guess I'm the old school guy.
What does that
Is
mean?
he stealing someone
Dot pirate
else's
was the guy
dot?
that was always like, "No, this is my dot.
Oh.
I'm gonna stay on my dot. This is my dot. This is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
I'm right.
We
Everybody
just-
else is wrong."
We
And
just
it's
called
like,
those field techs or like section leaders.
I remember going to a production at UT many, many years ago, and it was very like avant-garde, crazy costumes and all this stuff. And I went to it multiple times, and there's this one part where a guy comes out, and then the spotlight hits right next to the guy. And I was like, that is just the most bizarre, like, that's like groundbreaking theater. And it turns out the guy just missed his dot every time. And since then, I'm like, I want to recreate that moment, like, boom, spotlight, and it doesn't.
That's the worst. Like, you can't be the featured guy.
But it made me think, like, that is so awesome. Like, how did they plan that?
hey, it's his interpretation.
of the show. That's
It's
why.
his interpretation,
Yeah.
so it is not wrong.
Wow.
However that is, that's what made him. That's what that performance made him
It stuck
feel.
with me, like, 10 years later. It's still
Wow.
with me.
Oh my gosh.
All right then.
Wow. I don't think we can top that, guys.
No.
Yeah, I don't think we can
absolutely
either.
not.
So we're out of time here. By the way, make sure you go on to the website. We've got the Flow March Madness thing going on right now.
Yeah.
We're accepting applications or nominations,
Yeah.
for your favorite show of all time, and then we're going to put it all in a big bracket, and we're going to have all the fans vote. We've got like 147 nominations already, and that's individual people that have submitted, and a lot of those guys have submitted multiple different categories. So
Yeah. Everybody should, really.
Yeah.
all the categories are filling out. So even if you're a small, tiny little show, little scholastic, whatever, man, throw it up on there.
People have seen your shows, yeah.
Yes, they
That
have.
and like, don't just expect that your big show
It's-
somebody else will put it in.
Yeah.
You should put it in.
Yeah, but
Like,
so
you don't know. You don't
so
know.
make sure you go to the website, check on the events tab, Flow March Madness, get your submissions in. We've got one more week left to go
For nominations,
for the
yeah.
nominations, and then we're going to roll out the bracket and reveal that the week after that. So make sure you check us out on social media. It's all at Flow Marching.
At Flow Marching, absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
All the places.
Easy enough.
Hit me up.
So we got this weekend coming up, Indianapolis, Dayton. It's all gonna be on Flow Marching. It's Saturday and Sunday.
Both events.
Both events are 2-day streams this weekend, and I can't wait to go to Indy and then throw down on some donuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Donuts, most importantly.
Donuts. It's donut time, guys. So
All right.
for everybody here, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.